I'm Debbie Godfrey. Welcome to the Positive Parenting Pep Talks podcast.
Today I'm going to talk about getting a pet. And so many times our children beg and plead, come on, let me get a dog, let me get a cat, I'll take care of it, I promise. And then we get them the pet and they don't take care of it, and we end up having to feed them and take the litter box out and clean up after them. And we're constantly nagging, threatening, reminding, and in general, making a lot of empty threats, which undermines our parenting. So instead of doing that, we can set ourselves up for success. And the first thing to remember is to accept the fact that your children aren't going to be always remember to take responsibility and to do what they're supposed to do all the time, especially if they're younger. They definitely need a lot of time for training. So when you choose to get a pet, just accept the responsibility that occasionally you're going to have to cover for them or remind them or take care of it for them. And this doesn't mean that there's not consequences to the child for not doing it, but that you understand that it's a co-creative experience. And one of the important things here is that you can't allow the pets to go hungry as a natural consequence for your child not feeding the pet. So you do need to be willing to get in there and take the responsibility if your child isn't going to or hasn't done it. So one of the things is to ask them what needs to be done when they haven't done it. So the pet hasn't been fed. What needs to happen now? The other thing that you can do if the child isn't taking care of the pet and you see that and you're not willing to get rid of the pet, you're going to keep it, is that you just take responsibility over, say, I notice that you're not taking care of the pet anymore, so we're going to make this my dog or my cat and I'll take care of it. And I'm absolutely willing to share with you, but ultimately it's your animal now if you're taking responsibility and caring for it.
Look, Bumble knows you're exhausted by dating. All the must not take yourself too seriously and 6'1" since that matters. And what do I even say other than hey? Well, that's why they're introducing an all-new Bumble with exciting features to make compatibility easier, starting the chat better, and dating safer. They've changed, so you don't have to. Download the new Bumble now.
Also, you want to keep your expectations realistic. If you make a schedule, you can say things like feed the dog before we sit down to eat. If the dog dish is empty and the dog looks hungry, you can use follow through by asking the person whose job it is to feed the dog before dinner. And also, you can appreciate the way your child does contribute to having a pet. So let's say you just can't get them to remember to feed them. So you've taken over the job of feeding. Well, there's still petting, playing with, talking to, and walking the pet that all contribute to the health and well-being of the pet. So if that's what your child's capable of and willing to do, you can appreciate that and then not give yourself the headache of constantly fighting with them over what they're not willing to do, and just appreciate what they are willing to do. If you really want your child to be responsible and you're not willing to, then you need to give them a choice. And you can say, we can take care of the pet or find a new home for the pet where people will care for it. Now, if you say this, you really need to be able to be willing to release that pet. If you're not, do not make this suggestion or make this as a consequence. Only if you're willing to follow through. That doesn't mean you'll have to, but you have to be willing to. So even if it's difficult, tearful, even if you'll miss the pet, if you're really not willing and you don't want to continue to have the power struggles, then it's important to follow through with this. And you can say something like, I know this is hard, I'll miss our pet too. Maybe we'll be ready to try again in a few years. And give your child another chance later when they're a little older and maybe more capable of having responsibility. So to prevent future problems, you want to involve the children in the joys and responsibilities that go along with owning the pet. So make a list of all those responsibilities and, show your child where they're helping and where they're contributing. Also, if the pet's going to cost money, before you get it, it's great if you can involve the children in helping contribute by doing chores or, whatever it is that they can contribute to purchasing the pet. And then you can discuss any problems that come up in a family meeting during the week. So you want to avoid blame, guilt, and shame and work on solutions on a continuing basis and use having a pet as a great way to teach your kids responsibility, respect, caring for another, nurturing, growing. Have a great day. Happy parenting.
Thank you so much for joining me here at the Positive Parenting Pep Talks podcast. I assume you're here because you're getting something out of these daily pep talks. And wouldn't it be great if more parents could hear more about these ideas for their children? And you can help me in a great way by liking the episodes, by sharing them on your social media, and especially by providing a review on your platform of choice. So if you could do me a huge favor and do that, it would really help get this out to many, many, many more parents. And we can all help our children feel more seen, heard, and understood, which is my life's work, is to make sure that all children feel loved and appreciated and that we can discipline them without breaking their spirit. So I hope that you've enjoyed these podcasts and will continue to enjoy them. And I really appreciate any support you can give me here at Positive Parenting Pep Talks. Thank you so much. Have a great day and happy parenting.